Hey, it's Kevin DeWitt here. Welcome back to the Pasthisprime YouTube channel and welcome back to Surviving the Aftermath, where in this video we're going to do a quick guide on vehicles, using vehicles, how to get them, all that sort of stuff. And hopefully we'll cover off everything I know anyway, or as long as I don't forget things, but we'll go for it. So let's start. All right, so the first thing about vehicles is, where do you find them? Well, first place you're probably going to find a vehicle, unless something weird happens, is on the world map. So you're going to be out, you're going to be scouting, and you'll come across a vehicle and it'll say, vehicle found. And then you'll go, okay, great. What can we do with it? So, you know, you can go across it, you can see the health of the vehicle, and, you know, there's a little gauge on the bottom there. It also sort of shows how many people can go in the vehicle. So you can see there's 6 blocks there, 6 like heads. But 2 are grayed out, so that gives you the impression that this could take 4 people in that vehicle. So generally with vehicles you can have, well, most often the capacities that I've seen are either 2 people, 3 or 4 people. I don't think I've ever seen any more than that, even though they do show 6. I don't think I've seen that though. You'll also see some blocks on the side there, and that's the storage, just like say the boot of the car. You know, that's where you put your parts and stuff in there. So when a person gets in a car, they automatically unload all their stuff into the car, and that's where it will stay, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. And we'll talk about that shortly. So once you find a vehicle, you can just leave it there. No big deal. But what if you want to use it? All right, well, pretty simple. Grab your character and you can just highlight over it and it will just change to like that, and use an AP to enter the vehicle, right? So if I right click, he'll get in the car and there he is. Now if I hover over it, you can see he's sitting in the car. Great. Okay. Now once we've done that, if we single click on the car, we can then use it to move around. And the advantage of a vehicle is it can move a lot further in one turn than a person can walk. It can also carry multiple people, so which is really great. So if you wanted to take 4 specialists over to a remote corner of the world map, if you had them, you know, you could throw them in a car in your colony and drive them out here. They'll all get there quickly. They can all then get out of the car and scout around. Right, so let's move this car just for the sake of it so we can see what we're going to do. So let's say we wanted to get over here so that we can have a look at that. So I'm just going to right click on this spot and the car's gonna drive its merry little way. Now you'll see the health automatically just dropped out to 86. Now once you've got to your location, if I was to click again like that, that would just move the car again. But if I left click on the car one more time, now I've changed to the person. And now if I want to get the person out, one thing to note, like if I wanted to get this person to go here and scavenge, if I right click on this right now,
can't complete the order.
It won't do anything. So what you do is you right click just outside of it, and then once he's got out of the vehicle, then I can right click on this location to go and scavenge. We could leave this guy. I mean, you can't drive the car around without a person in it. Logic. It's not an automated car. You need to have someone in to move it, and that's just what you got to do.
Yes.
So we could send him back into the car if we want. But what we should do, just to show an example, now I am going to get him to scavenge for a little bit, and we'll come back in a moment. Okay, so we've got him scavenging a little bit, right? This is just for an example. So I'm going to cancel the mission. And we're going to confirm. Now you can see here he's carrying 4 iodine pills. Now if I put him in the car, now go to the car, we can see there's 4 iodine pills.
Your orders.
Now if I take him out, you'll see he's not holding the iodine pills anymore. He's got nothing on him. But the car has the 4 iodine pearls. So this is one downside to the vehicles, especially in the early game. Because as soon as you put a character in the car, all the items that he had is now in the car. And you might think, well, what's the problem with that? Well, let's have a look. So I'll get him back in the car. And let's drive him. Where's our colony? Hang on, let's find it. So I'm going to drive it. We'll get it to go to the entrance. Alright, so let's just speed up time. Okay, so we've got the car here now. It's now got 76 out of 100 HP. So there's obviously wear and tear from driving it around, whether it's fuel or a bit of both, fuel and health, I'm not sure. But as I said, if let's say I wanted to use this vehicle again, I'm pretty stuck at this point in time. Okay, so let's assume we're early game. We don't have something called a garage, right? That's going to come later in the game, depending on how you play. Right, so we don't have one of those. Now, if I wanted to get these iodine pills in, you'd think, okay, well, what if I just leave the car there because I want to reuse it? So let's take the character out. And we'll get him to go back to the colony. Well, as I said, he's not holding the iodine pills. The car's holding the iodine pills. So what does that mean? Well, that means to get those iodine pills into the colony, we basically need to drive the car into the colony. So that's how we'll get our iodine pills, right? So at the moment we've got 14 iodine pills. I'll drive that in. Does it jump up straight away? Maybe not. Let's go here. So he's now returned to the colony. The iodine pills should go up, but I think somebody's got to pick them up, do they? Okay, there we go, 18. Right, so the iodine pills have been picked up. They've been put in the warehouse. They're done. So we've got the iodine pills now. But where's the car? It's gone. Well, it hasn't probably gone. It's just vanished, right? So it's gone into the ether. So if we go back to our world map, we have no car now. So that car cannot be used any further. We haven't got it. So that's a bit of annoying, but we'll talk about how the better approach is later in the game. Right now, the car use early game is just to speed up a little bit of time, one-time use, basically get things back. That's about it, really, that I can think of early game. So what we're going to do now is I want to do another example of something as well. Alright, so what we're going to do now, I want to see or show what happens when the health gets down to nothing. So I'm going to drive this around for a bit and we'll see what happens. Alright, so we've got it down to 6 out of 100. I want to see literally when it runs out. Well, I'm hoping we can. So we're down to 0. And you can see the car is basically smoking. It's looking horrible, but it's still there. It still thinks it's working. So now let's imagine that we've got this full of parts and a person. Can we get it back to the colony in the shape it's in? And looking at the distances, I'd say we're starting to possibly move at a slower rate. So let's just see if it does move. Alright, so you can see the car got there in the 3 turns, and we can continue on all the way back to our colony even though it is at 0 HP. So think of it more as if the car's, I guess, ran out of fuel, and what we're going to do is basically push this car all the way back to our colony. So I think it's a lot slower, but it's still workable. So you haven't lost your items, you haven't lost access to doing it or getting those items back to your colony. It's just not going to have the speed because you basically ran out of fuel. And it's just, yeah, it's stuffed, but it's still functional to a point. The other way to get your hands on vehicles is to trade. You will find that most of the other societies will have a vehicle that you can trade. So you can buy an off-roader. It's a lot of money, but we could buy it. Confirm, confirm. And then we should see that trade. They're going to drive it to us by the look of it. So if we find here, Lush Town, they're going to drive that vehicle over to us, or however they're going to do it. Let's just speed up. And you'll see... oh, actually, we're going to pick up the vehicle. That's sort of weird. I don't know how we would pick up a vehicle in a vehicle, but that's what sort of it looks like. We're actually going to pick up that vehicle and then bring it back. Now, the downside to doing that is that once it arrives, it's not going to be on the world map. So again, you're not going to be able to do anything with that early game. You're going to need a garage. So let's get on to that one. So what are we talking about there? So the most useful time where it comes to having vehicles is later on in the game where you have access to a garage. All right, so when you get into your research tree here, what you're looking for is motorization, unlocks vehicle repairing. So even the most rickety car surely beats a foot march. Unlocks the garage for exploring the wilderness with a trusty vehicle as long as there's enough fuel. So you will need power for this building and you will need fuel for your vehicles. So you'll need to research that first. Then once you've researched that, you can then build it. And it is in this section, exploration. You can build a garage here. As I said, it needs 10 power. Each car repair is then 10 fuel. And it requires all those parts. So, you know, you can find a spot to place it down and put it down and build it as you normally would. Now, I do have one here prepared earlier. So over here is our garage that I've already got built, and you click on it, you can see it's working, you know, nothing to it. It's using power and it's got fuel. Now, if you want to use it, what you now do is you go over here and you go to vehicle selection, you click on it and you'll get a list of vehicles. These will be vehicles that you've either found in the world map, driven in, or vehicles that you have, I guess, traded from other societies. And you can see how many passengers it takes, the durability, and I guess the health of it as well. So once you decide what size, and the size is going to depend on how many people you want to take out. Sometimes I might take a big group of people, like 4 specialists out into one location. Other times I might decide, okay, well, I want to stagger. I want to split out on the map different locations. So I might take 2 people out in one vehicle, 2 in another vehicle, and send them out to opposing sides of the map or that sort of thing. Or you can go with 3. As I said, I think I've only seen up to 4 at the most at the moment. But once you pick the vehicle, so we click on a vehicle, it'll then come up here. And what we'll now do is we will assign specialists. So if we click on this, we get all the specialists that are currently in the colony. If they are out on the world map, they will not be available to pick. And then what we'll do is we click on as many as we want, and you don't have to fill the car up. If you change your mind and you just pick a 3 vehicle car, but you only want to send 2 people, you can do that. But why? So once I put the 3 in, there's nothing else to do. I don't need to click anything. You'd think you do, but you don't need to. You can just close it, and it's just waiting for resources now. So I think what it's doing is it's just doing the repair. It's getting the fuel, repairing the vehicle, getting it ready, and basically we just wait. So we'll let it go. You can see the vehicle, it's doing some stuff to it, whatever, getting it ready. I'll slow it down a little bit here. And then eventually we'll get a pop-up. Just ignore all the other pop-ups because I'm not actually playing this properly, but we're waiting for a pop-up about the vehicle. Okay, so you'll see you'll get a pop-up now. It says car is now ready. Car is now repaired and ready to go. So we can click on it, go back to our garage, click on it, and you'll now see there's a button that says create team. So now if I go create team, we suddenly pop straight out to the world map and we have a vehicle here. And you'll see when I move the cursor out, it's now got 100 health. So we've repaired it, fueled it up, and there's our 3 specialists in there. And we are ready to drive our vehicle off. So we can drive that around to our heart's content, get it down to nothing, go and scavenge, get in and out of the car, do all that great stuff, then bring it back to our colony, and it will be available then again. So we'll bring it back to the colony. All the items in the car will be unloaded and the car will be available again in the garage to pick another one. So, you know, once we've done that vehicle, we can go and pick another one. We can keep doing it and doing and doing and sending them all out, right? There's no big deal. We can pick more people. All right, I want to send out another 3. Da-da-da, right, yep, okay. Now we just wait. You can see... Ignore that. You can see it says waiting for resources, so it's waiting for the fuel. Okay, and it's very noisy. So, yeah, we were waiting for the 10 fuel. We got the 10 fuel. Now we're repairing it. You can see the percentage going up. And, you know, once that gets to 100 again, we'll get the pop-up, and then we'll be able to send people back out in our cars. And that's what you do. So you just go backwards and forwards, doing that with your cars and enjoying it and getting fuel. Now, if you want fuel, you can find it, I think, out in the world map. You can also trade for it. So you'll probably find people will trade fuel. As you can see there, this one here will trade some fuel, so you can get fuel from them. The other way to get fuel for your vehicles is to build a refinery, which is here. And that basically uses a lot of power, 30 power, and it takes oil and converts it to fuel. So I think I have a refinery right here. So if I had people in here, they could be making some fuel from oil, which is good. And you can see there I've got a lot of oil and a little bit of fuel. So they can turn oil into fuel. How do you get oil? So the only way to make oil that I know of, anyway, at this stage, is that you need to have a greenhouse and you need to plant sunflower seeds. So you can see sunflower seeds there, inedible crop grown for use as a raw resource for oil. So you plant that, and again, to get those, you will have to trade with other societies to get those. So there's certain seeds and things like that that you can only get from other societies, if I could find one. But none of them are trading seeds right now. It's really annoying. Oh, there you go. You can trade directly for oil as well by this. But generally what you'll do is you'll get the sunflower seeds. You'll trade one of those. And then once you only have to trade once to get a sunflower seed. So any seed, you only trade once. And then once you've got that, you can, as long as you've got a greenhouse and you've researched greenhouses, you can put a greenhouse down and, you know, select sunflower seeds. And then you'll be producing oil. And as soon as you're producing oil, you can then convert that to fuel and that. But I haven't found that to be a big commodity that I need a lot of. It is a good thing to have if you want to also get trade value, but that's not what we're talking about here. Anyway, we're talking about cars. So that's how you get fuel if you need it for your vehicles and you use them a lot. So in regards to trades, in case you're curious about it, I've never found a way, well, I don't believe there's a way to trade vehicles yourself. There's a lot of stuff that other societies can trade to you, like vehicles, animals, that sort of thing. You don't get the option to trade any of that back. You can trade oil and fuel, but you can't trade a vehicle back to them, and you can't trade animals back to them. But that's beside the point. So if you are wondering, can I get a vehicle into my colony and then I don't need it anymore? Can I trade it to another society for big money? No, you can't. You can get them off them, but you can't trade them back. Right, so that's pretty much all I know about vehicles at this stage. I haven't found anything else that has come up that's unusual or weird or any other things, but if I have missed something, please do let me know, or I didn't explain something properly. Hopefully you like the channel, and if you do, you want to support it further, check the description below. There's a link to a Patreon site and a link to a virtual coffee site. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out immensely, and I really do appreciate the support. Most importantly, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know what you think of the game and the guide, you know, vehicles. Do you have any questions about them, or did I miss anything you want to let me know? Anything like that, or I got wrong? Feel free to tell me. I'm happy to be corrected. I'm happy to be informed of other things that I've missed and all that sort of stuff. I read all the comments and answer every comment that warrants an answer as soon as I possibly can. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.